This advice touched 20,000 people, and I bet you this one piece of advice will change the way you think about success forever. Listen to me. This isn't just some feel-good statement. This is the shift that separates those who struggle from those who dominate. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's it. That's the advice that transformed millions of lives, and if you truly understand it, it will transform yours too. Because if you work hard on your job, sure, you can make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can create a fortune. And not just financially, a fortune in your relationships, your energy, your confidence, your entire life. Most people have it backward. They chase success. They run after opportunities. They grind harder at their jobs. They hustle endlessly, hoping for a breakthrough. But what if I told you that success isn't something you pursue? Success is something you attract. It's not about chasing. It's about becoming. The moment you shift your focus from working harder on your job to working harder on yourself, everything changes. This is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. This is what turns struggle into power, frustration into momentum, and obstacles into stepping stones. The world doesn't hand success to those who simply wish for it. It gives it to those who earn it, not by working harder on the outside, but by transforming themselves on the inside. And that's exactly what we're diving into today, because the world belongs to those who commit to relentless personal growth. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Most people go through life thinking that if they just put in more hours, grind harder at their job, and push themselves to the limit in their career, they'll eventually get ahead. They believe that the key to success is simply working longer, putting in more effort, and hoping that their boss, their company, or the market will recognize their hard work and reward them. But that's not how real success works. Truth is, the biggest breakthroughs, the biggest shifts, and the biggest transformations don't come from just working harder at your job. They come from working harder on yourself. Difference between those who struggle and those who rise to the top is the level of commitment they put into their own growth. It's not about how many hours you log in at work. It's not about how busy you are. It's about how much you are expanding your mind, your skills, your ability to influence, your ability to lead, your income, your success, your opportunities. They're all tied directly to your personal development. If you don't grow, your results won't grow. If you don't push yourself to learn more, think bigger, and become more valuable, your circumstances will never change. Think about it. If just working hard at a job was the key to success, then the hardest working people in the world would be the wealthiest. But they're not. There are people grinding 12-hour shifts every single day who are barely making ends meet. Why? Because they're working hard on the wrong thing. They're putting all their effort into their job, but not into themselves. Now, let's flip the script. Imagine putting even half of that effort into your own growth. What if, instead of just focusing on doing more at work, you focused on becoming more as a person? What if you read books on leadership, studied human psychology, improved your communication, sharpened your skills? What if you learned new strategies, adopted new mindsets, and mastered the art of influence? You would become When you grow, everything around you grows. Your income grows because you become more valuable to the marketplace. Your opportunities expand because people want to work with those who bring massive value. Your confidence skyrockets because you're constantly improving. And most importantly, you start attracting success rather than just chasing it. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind and think that success comes from putting in more time. Time alone doesn't change anything. Growth does. You have to level up who you are if you want to level up your results. If you're still operating with the same mindset, the same skills, the same habits you had 5 years ago, then it's no wonder your life looks the same. You don't get paid for time. You get paid for the value you bring. And the only way to bring more value is to work on yourself harder than you work on your job. This doesn't mean you shouldn't work hard at your job. It means that the real game changer is what you do outside of it. Do you spend your free time watching mindless entertainment, or do you invest in yourself? Are you constantly learning, growing, and improving, or are you just hoping things will change on their own? The people who rise to the top, the ones who create massive success, are the ones who take full responsibility for their growth. They don't wait for their boss to recognize them. They don't wait for the economy to improve. They don't wait for opportunities to appear. They create opportunities by becoming the kind of person that attracts them. Success is something you attract by becoming more valuable. Most people go through life believing that success is something you have to chase. They think if they just work hard or hustle more and push themselves to the limit, success will eventually come to them. They believe they have to go out and get success, as if it's some distant prize that only a few lucky people get to reach. But that's not how it works. Success isn't something you chase, it's something you attract. Think about a magnet. A magnet doesn't chase metal, it simply attracts it. The stronger the magnet, the more it pulls things toward it effortlessly. The same is true for success. The more valuable you become, the more success you naturally attract into your life. You don't have to force it, you don't have to beg for it, and you don't have to struggle for it. When you become more valuable, success comes to you. But here's the catch. You can't attract success without first increasing your value. If you're not growing, if you're not developing new skills, if you're not expanding your mindset, then you're not becoming more attractive to opportunities. The reason why some people struggle year after year while others seem to rise effortlessly is because one group is focused on chasing while the other group is focused on becoming. Let's look at the people who are truly successful, the top entrepreneurs, the best leaders, the highest paid professionals. What do they all have in common? They have developed themselves into highly valuable individuals. They've mastered their craft. They've built strong networks. They've learned to communicate and lead at an elite level. They don't sit around hoping for a promotion, hoping for a break, hoping for luck. They make themselves so valuable that opportunities come knocking on their door. On the other hand, most people spend their time trying to get success without first becoming the kind of person who deserves it. They're constantly looking for shortcuts, quick wins, or some external event that will magically change everything for them. But success doesn't work like that. If you're not growing, you're repelling success. If you're not developing new skills, you're staying stuck. If you're not improving your mindset, your confidence, and your ability to deliver massive value, then you're not attracting anything different than what you already have. Think about your own life. Where are you putting your energy? Are you spending more time worrying about what's not working, or are you actively improving yourself every single day? Are you focusing on becoming more valuable, or are you just hoping things will change? Are you truly committed to your own personal growth, or are you just going through the motions? If you want to attract better opportunities, you have to become better. If you want to earn more, you have to be worth more. If you want people to respect you, to listen to you, to follow you, then you have to develop yourself into someone worth following. This is why personal development is the ultimate key to success. Everything you want in life, money, freedom, fulfillment, impact, it all starts with who you are, not what the market is doing, not what your company is doing, not what the economy is doing. Most people don't realize this because they're too busy looking outside themselves. They blame their circumstances, their boss, their background, the system, anything but themselves. But the second you take ownership and start focusing on becoming more valuable, everything shifts. Your income increases, your relationships improve, your confidence skyrockets. People start noticing you, listening to you, wanting to work with you. You stop chasing success and start pulling it toward you. Success isn't something you go out and find. It's something that finds you when you become the kind of person who naturally attracts it. If you want more, you must become more. Most people go through life wanting more. They want more money, more opportunities, more freedom, more success, more happiness. They look at others who have what they want and wonder why they're stuck where they are. They say things like, if I just had more money, I'd be happy. If I just had more opportunities, I'd finally be successful. If I just had the right connections, everything would change for me. But here's the truth. More doesn't come to those who want more. More comes to those who become more. Everything you want in life is directly tied to who you are. Your income is a reflection of the value you bring to the marketplace. Your relationships are a reflection of the energy you bring to them. Your opportunities are a reflection of how much you've developed yourself. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. If you want more, you must become more. Most people don't like to hear this because it forces them to take responsibility. It's easier to blame external circumstances than to admit that the reason they don't have what they want is because they haven't become the kind of person who deserves it yet. But the moment you accept this truth, everything changes. Instead of waiting for success, you start creating success. Instead of hoping for more, you start earning more. Instead of wishing for opportunities, you start attracting opportunities. Look at the most successful people in the world. They didn't get there by luck. They didn't sit around hoping that something good would happen. They became more. They developed new skills, expanded their mindset, built better habits, became more disciplined, more focused, more valuable. And because they became more, they naturally attracted more. Think about it. If you were suddenly handed 10 times the income you have right now, would you be able to manage it? If you were suddenly given a high-level leadership position, would you have the skills to handle it? If the perfect opportunity landed in your lap today, would you be ready for it? Most people want the rewards without putting in the work to deserve them. They want the result without the growth. Life doesn't work that way. You don't rise to the level of your desires. You rise to the level of your development. The reason some people keep leveling up in life while others stay stuck is because one group is constantly growing while the other is waiting for something external to change. Growth is the secret. The more you develop yourself, the more you can handle. The more valuable you become, the more valuable opportunities come your way. The more skilled you are, the more you can earn. This applies to every area of life. Want better relationships? Become a better communicator, a better listener, a more emotionally intelligent person. Want better health? Develop more discipline, better habits, a stronger mindset around your well-being. Want financial freedom? Learn how money works. Study wealth principles. Develop the skills that create abundance. It's all about who you become. The best part is that you have full control over this. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't need someone to give you an opportunity. You don't need the economy to change, the government to change, or the world to change. You just need to change yourself. If you grow, your life grows. If you become more, you'll have more. It's that simple. Your biggest obstacle isn't the world, it's your own mindset. Most people believe that their biggest obstacle is something outside of them. They think it's the economy, their job, their background, their circumstances, their lack of resources. They believe that if just one external thing would change, everything in their life would get better. But the real truth, the one that separates those who succeed from those who struggle, is that your biggest obstacle isn't out there. It's not the world. It's not your past. It's not your situation. It's you. It's your mindset. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your biggest limitation. It will either push you forward or hold you back. The way you think, the beliefs you hold, the stories you tell yourself. These are what truly determine your success. You can have all the talent in the world, all the resources, all the opportunities, but if your mindset is working against you, none of it will matter. Look at people who never seem to break through no matter how hard they try. It's not because they aren't capable. It's not because they aren't talented. It's because their mindset keeps them stuck. They tell themselves stories about why they can't succeed. They focus on what's wrong instead of what's possible. They let fear, doubt, and excuses dictate their actions. They believe they aren't good enough, smart enough, or lucky enough. And because they believe these things, they become their reality. On the other hand, look at the people who do succeed. They aren't always the smartest, the most educated, or the most connected, but what they have is a relentless mindset. They refuse to let fear stop them. They refuse to accept excuses. They refuse to be victims of their circumstances. They believe they are in control of their destiny, and because they believe it, they act accordingly. Your mind is like a thermostat. If it's set at a certain level, that's where your results will stay. Even if you experience temporary success, if your mindset is still programmed for struggle, you'll eventually fall back to that level. That's why lottery winners go broke. That's why people lose weight and gain it all back. That's why some people achieve success but can't sustain it. Their mindset is still set at a lower level, and until they change that setting, they'll always return to where they started. If you want to break through, you have to change your internal thermostat. You have to reprogram your mind for success. That means eliminating limiting beliefs, upgrading your self-picture, and developing a mindset of absolute certainty. It means shifting from a victim mentality to an ownership mentality. It means training yourself to see opportunities instead of obstacles, solutions instead of problems, possibilities instead of limitations. This isn't just about thinking positively. It's about fundamentally rewiring the way you operate. It's about taking total control over your thoughts, your emotions, and your habits. The people who succeed at the highest level aren't just lucky. They've trained their minds to win. They've conditioned themselves to take action even when they don't feel like it. They've built the mental toughness to push through setbacks, to keep going when things get hard, to believe in themselves even when no one else does. The reason why so many people never reach their full potential is because they never take control of their mindset. They let old programming run their lives. They hold on to beliefs that no longer serve them. They allow fear, doubt, and negative thinking to keep them stuck in the same place year after year. They tell themselves stories about why they can't, why it's too hard, why it's not possible. And the more they tell themselves these stories, the more they become their reality. If you want to change your life, the first thing you have to do is change your mind. Because the truth is, success starts from the inside out. It's not about what's happening to you. It's about what's happening inside you. It's not about waiting for the world to change. It's about changing the way you see the world. When you shift your mindset, you shift your results. When you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your future. When you stop letting fear and doubt dictate your actions, you open yourself up to unlimited possibilities. The world belongs to those who commit to relentless personal growth. Most people are waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for something to change so they can finally go after what they want. They wait for the economy to improve, for their boss to recognize them, for some external force to come in and make things easier. But the world doesn't reward those who wait. It doesn't belong to those who sit back and hope. It belongs to those who take full responsibility for their growth, who commit to constant learning, who push themselves every single day to become better, stronger, more valuable. Everything in life operates on one simple principle: grow or die. You see it in nature. A tree is either growing, expanding, reaching higher, or it's dying. There is no standing still. The same rule applies to human beings. If you are not growing, you are moving backward. If you are not expanding your skills, your mindset, your ability to create value, then you are falling behind. There is no neutral ground. The world belongs to those who understand this and make the decision to commit to personal growth no matter what. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they stop growing. They reach a certain level of success, a certain level of knowledge, and they think that's enough. They get comfortable. They stop reading, stop learning, stop challenging themselves. And the moment they do, they start to decline. The skills they have become outdated. The mindset they have gets weaker. The world around them keeps moving forward while they stay the same. And before they know it, they're left behind. But the ones who dominate in life, the ones who build unstoppable momentum, are the ones who refuse to settle. They never say, I know enough. They never say, I've made it. They never say, I'm done growing. They are obsessed with becoming better every single day. They study, they practice, they refine their skills, they challenge their own beliefs, they seek out new knowledge, they push themselves to the next level. And because they are always growing, their opportunities are always growing. Their income grows, their influence grows, their success grows. The world opens up to those who commit to relentless personal growth. Look at the people who are at the top of their fields, the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the highest achievers. They didn't get there by accident. They didn't stop learning once they reached a certain level. They kept pushing. They kept finding ways to improve, even when they were already the best. Kobe Bryant was at the top of the basketball world, but he was the first one in the gym and the last one to leave. Elon Musk is already a billionaire. But he still reads obsessively, still studies, still works on developing himself. Why? Because they understand that if they stop growing, they start losing. Personal growth is the ultimate game changer. When you commit to relentless growth, you make yourself unstoppable. You become adaptable. You become resourceful. No matter what challenges come your way, you have the skills, the mindset, and the resilience to handle them. You stop being dependent on external circumstances because you know that no matter what happens, you can grow through it. You can learn what needs to be learned, develop what needs to be developed, and create what needs to be created. Most people avoid challenges. They avoid discomfort. They stay in their comfort zone, repeating the same habits, thinking the same thoughts, living the same life year after year. And then they wonder why nothing changes. They wonder why they aren't getting ahead. But the truth is, growth only happens in discomfort. Growth only happens when you push beyond what's easy, what's familiar, what's safe. If you aren't challenging yourself daily, you aren't growing. And if you aren't growing, you're falling behind. The difference between those who create extraordinary success and those who don't isn't talent, luck, or intelligence. It's commitment. The highest achievers commit to growth. They don't just dabble in it. They don't just read a book once in a while and call it personal development. They live it. They make it a priority. They structure their days around learning, improving, becoming better. They invest in mentors. They seek out new challenges. They deliberately put themselves in situations that force them to level up. They choose growth every single day. This level of commitment changes everything. When you make personal growth a non-negotiable, you start seeing life differently. You stop waiting for things to change and start making them change. You stop seeing obstacles as problems and start seeing them as opportunities to grow. You stop looking at successful people with envy and start studying them to understand how they think, how they operate, how they move through the world. You start focusing on who you are becoming, not just what you are achieving. When you become obsessed with growth, you stop needing motivation. You don't rely on hype, on inspiration, on external pushes to take action. Growth becomes your way of life. You wake up with a sense of purpose. You take action because you know every step forward makes you stronger, smarter, more valuable. You don't need someone to push you. You are internally driven. You don't need someone to tell you what to do. You take control of your own future. This is what separates the top 1% from the rest. The majority of people settle. They reach a certain point and they stop. They say, I'm good enough. They say, I don't need to grow anymore. And the moment they do, they start to decline. But the ones who truly take ownership of their lives, the ones who rise above, are the ones who never stop evolving. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Every setback is a lesson. Every failure is a stepping stone to the next level. The world belongs to those who understand this, the ones who take every moment as a chance to develop, to sharpen, to refine, the ones who are obsessed with becoming the best version of themselves. The ones who don't wait for growth to happen to them, they create it. There is no finish line in personal growth. There is no point where you've made it and can stop. The moment you think you're done, you start losing. The greatest people in the world, the most successful, the most fulfilled, are the ones who never stop improving. They know that every new level of success requires a new level of them, that every new goal demands more skills, more mindset shifts, more growth. They don't fear this. They embrace it. Your future is determined by one thing, your commitment to growth. Your success is a reflection of how much you push yourself. Your results are a mirror of how much you've developed yourself. If you aren't where you want to be, the answer isn't to wait, to hope, to wish. The answer is to grow. Because when you grow, everything around you grows. Your opportunities expand. Your income increases. Your relationships get better. Your confidence rises. The world doesn't belong to the lucky. It doesn't belong to the talented. It doesn't belong to those who sit around waiting for a break. It belongs to those who commit, who push, who evolve. It belongs to those who take their growth seriously. The ones who make learning a daily habit. The ones who surround themselves with people who challenge them. The ones who never settle, never stop, never say, I'm done. If you want to achieve something great, if you want to break through limitations, if you want to create a life of impact, of meaning, of significance, then you must make a decision to grow, to push, to commit to the relentless pursuit of becoming more. Because when you do that, when you take full responsibility for your personal growth, when you dedicate yourself to becoming better every single day, then the world truly belongs to you. Everything you want, everything you dream of, everything you're capable of, it's all waiting for you. But the key isn't out there. It's not in the economy. It's not in luck. It's in you. Success is something you attract by becoming the kind of person who deserves it. When you shift your mindset, when you commit to growing, when you refuse to settle for anything less than your potential, that's when the game changes. That's when doors open, opportunities appear, and life starts working for you instead of against you. So ask yourself, who are you becoming? Are you growing? Are you pushing? Are you becoming more valuable every single day? Because the world doesn't wait. It doesn't slow down. It belongs to those who take control of their future, who invest in themselves, who never stop evolving. And if you're ready to make that shift, if you're ready to step up, to own your growth, to take your life to the next level, then start now. Don't wait. Don't hope. Decide. Because the future belongs to those who take action. This is Tony Robbins' track, and I'll see you at the top.